Hey guys, it's Ryan here from themoviesdeadworld.net. Welcome back to the channel. As I promised before in the last review series, I'm doing Sorceress for review this time. I've already had it up on the site for a little while now, about a week or so. I haven't had a lot of time to do any video reviews to go along with that, so I'm kind of missing out on that a little bit. But I wanted to start off by saying that I do have a giveaway going on right now that has a lot of current films from Synapse and Impulse Pictures. Synapse being the one who released this Blu-ray edition of the uncensored director's cut of Sorceress, which has the full cut, the one that you were meant to see from Jim Wynorski. So I do have a giveaway going on of that, and I have a couple other things up there too from Impulse Pictures, which is kind of an imprint of Synapse films that they kind of deal with the whole porno aspect. So this is kind of a naughty giveaway. You're going to be getting some of the other 42nd Street Forever series of films. They're the Peep Show collection. I have the latest volumes, so I think it's volume 13, 14, 15, and 16. Those are DVDs, not Blu-rays. That's the way that Impulse releases them. And they're short videos of porn clips from vintage eras. So a lot of these, all of them actually have no sound to them. They're just kind of the film reel that's spinning. That you hear in the background with video, and these used to be shown on places like 42nd Street, where they would have porno shops and theaters, and they would show them in the windows and stuff like that, so that you could kind of get a taste of what's in there. So I have those. So that's 4 DVDs plus the Sorceress Blu-ray, which you will receive if you enter into the giveaway. And if you subscribe to this YouTube channel, all you got to do is head over to the link at the bottom that I put in the info section. Just head over there to the Rafflecopter and you pop in your username for YouTube to make sure that I have proof that you subscribe. And then you're entered for one entry to this giveaway, but you can get multiple entries by tweeting, going over to the Moon is Dead World's Facebook page, joining in on the MailChimp subscription list for emails, and a couple other things that you can do. And the Twitter thing, you can tweet out every single day to get more entries. So definitely check that out. The link is below in the info section. You can enter to win. And the biggest thing that I'm giving away is this Sorceress Blu-ray, but you're also going to get some porn with it. So props to you. Let's get right into the Sorceress review, though. Most of you that have heard of it or seen it know that it has a lot of big, massive potential. Jim Wynorski is mostly known for his B-movies that contain busty ladies and beastly creatures, but 1995's Sorceress adds another alliterative theme to his repertoire: black magic. Originally known as Temptress, the film has languished on home video in its original cut form, but Synapse is bringing it back for its uncensored version in its uncut glory. This basically translates to what amounts to softcore porn, on par with some of Wynorski's other films, like the Bear Wench Project series, but there's a semblance of plot running through Sorceress, which kind of sets it apart from some of his other films that he's done that are basically just straight softcore porn. In this one, in Sorceress, a prominent lawyer is pursued by a bevy of scantily clad ladies, seemingly all of them bewitched by him in some way, who just can't get enough of him. And eventually he finds that one of the ladies is becoming the same person as his dead ex from some sort of weird spell or magic cast on him by someone who's not very happy with him. So Sorceress has that potential because it boasts such a competent crew. I mean, you've got Wynorski, who's done a lot of films, and he's very good at the ones that he does, where he's combining that eroticism of beautiful ladies with the horror aspect. And Sorceress isn't technically a horror film, but it does have that sort of feeling to it, especially when you get people like Linda Blair, who shows up as Amelia, who does become the villain later on in the film. It's kind of strange to see Linda Blair showing up in this type of film, which is significantly lower budget than something like The Exorcist. But she makes do with what she has as part of a plot. As part of the character in the plot. And so it's nice to see her featured here and returning to her horror roots. And not only that, we have Mark Thomas McGee, who writes the script. He's notable for stuff like Sorority House Massacre 2. So he's not really any stranger to erotic films either that feature a lot of nudity in them. And he also wrote Step Monster, which, you know, I guess people recognize that one. Fred Olen Ray produces, and so if there is a person who has made more movies than Jim Wynorski that are sort of low budget and really B and Z grade films, it's Fred Olen Ray. So he also gets a small cameo part in this film as well. And then we also have those busty ladies like Julie Strain, who's pretty much been known for just doing films like Sorceress and other films where she gets to flaunt her body. She plays that haunting ex Erica who has kind of cursed our main character, so she's kind of always there in the background of the scenes or being thought of in some way, even though she doesn't have a huge part once she is killed off very quickly in the beginning of the film. We have Rochelle Swanson, who plays the possessed Carol. That's the new girlfriend of our main character. And then we also have Toni Naples, who plays Maria. So all of these ladies get naked in some form or another, which is, you know, mainly what Jim Wynorski's looking for when he hires a lady. Of primary focus, though, and I keep referring to him as a main character, is Larry Barnes, played by Larry Poindexter. He's our main character. He's that lawyer who recently lost his wife in that horrible accident where he accidentally pushed her off of a balcony. It was sort of an accident and sort of on purpose. That happens in the beginning of the film, and that's where she curses him. And really, throughout the film, it's not really clear whether it's her that's haunting him or if it's his imagination or if something else is going on. Later on, it does become clear that Linda Blair is our main antagonist. She's that little bitch who doesn't want to let Larry go for whatever reason, for things we'll get into a little bit later in this review. Wynorski's plot is at first kind of muddled. There's some editing errors, or maybe it's just the shoddy script work. There's nothing to really explain Erica's attack on Howard in the beginning of the film. Howard is the husband of Linda Blair's character, Amelia, and he recently just got a very good position at the law firm and beat out Larry for it. And so perhaps there's the idea that, Erica wants to get back at Howard, wants to have some revenge on him because he ended up getting the job instead of Larry, but really there's nothing here that really explains that hatred that Erica has, which makes him have the accident. I mean, we see in the beginning that she's doing this spell to cause the accident, but we don't really get good motivation from her, and then by that time she's already dead. So that in itself is lacking a little bit of development right there in the beginning of the film. But it does jump to a new revenge plot with Amelia, who's mad at Erica because her husband, Howard, has been crippled. And so now that Erica's dead, the only one that's left to strike back at is Larry, because she wants some sort of vindication. That plot is subpar at best, though, and Sorceress doesn't really handle the overarching subject matter well. The motivations are very thin, as I said before, and at one point, Howard even confronts Amelia about her pointless attacks on Larry. They don't really make sense. He kind of points that out, and it seems like Wynorski and McGee are kind of poking fun at the script in itself, because they'd rather get a lot more sex scenes in it than explain the holes in the plot. Still, it's probably best for viewers if they don't focus on the storyline. Instead, in this uncensored director's cut, there is a lot of sex scenes, and this adds a lot more than what you'd even get from the regular, I don't know if it was released in theaters, but the regular cut of the film. There's a lot of dreamy moments in here that tend to blend eroticism and fantasy. Dreamy moments where there's some threesomes or more simulated sex that Larry is imagining. Not imagining, I mean, they really did happen, but he's seeing them again in his house. So that's a way that Wynorski can really throw those scenes in there, even if they don't make sense within the plot itself. And so he works them in a lot, and that's what Wynorski excels at when we're talking about these erotic films. I mean, he knows how to put that stuff in there. He knows how to shove it right into the film. If we were going for some jokes in here. Truly, though, they're the Sorceress's best moments. I mean, the awkwardness of these scenarios is it makes sense. I mean, it's supposed to be a little bit awkward as Larry sees some of these areas where he's thinking back about Erica, or he's being wooed by some of the other ladies. And even Carol has some self-conscious curiosity when she's asking about Larry's previous relationships, and he admits that he's had a threesome. So there's some good awkward scenes in there, intentionally awkward, even though we've been through them, we've seen them, we've kind of experienced them with Larry, as weird as that sounds. But it's nice to see Carol bringing these things up as she slowly morphs into Erica, thanks to Amelia's witchcraft. And speaking of witchcraft, the magic itself is a very small portion of Sorceress. As I said before, it can be considered a horror film because of that magic aspect and a couple of scenes of magical attacks. But really, there's not that much in it. And most of it actually encompasses some psychological trauma of a beautiful woman cheating on her spouse. It's often kind of generic with the magic. There are those scenes where there's candles and weird language and people dressed in black and stuff like that. But really, that the magic part of it is a small part of Sorceress, and I honestly wish that it had a little bit more to it than that, because what it amounts to is a lot of scenes of people having sex, and then a few scenes of actual magic and a semblance of a plot. Because really, Sorceress is flawed and often full of holes. And I don't mean that in a pun. I mean that realistically, that the film has a lot of holes in its plot that are not explained, not developed very well. That's not uncommon for a Wynorski film that's more focused on eroticism than anything else. So if you're looking for that, then by all means check out Sorceress. It kind of reminds of some of those other films like the Witchboard series and things like that are sort of horror, but they're also more steeped in the erotic film than anything else. While Sorceress isn't really a great film in conventional terms, Wynorski had perfected these types of lower budget films by 1995, and so when you're getting Sorceress, you're getting like the best of what Wynorski has done at that time. There's a dash of paranormal. You get some of those scenes where it's not really clear whether Erica is a ghost coming back to haunt Larry or if it's something else. You've also got a heaping helping of eroticism, especially in this uncensored version, because you're getting everything, every little thing. I think there's even a shot of Larry's penis in here, so have at it, And then there's a cast of buxom, good-looking women who, are constantly getting naked. Sorceress is the ever-elusive softcore porn with a storyline. The film delivers as promised, and so it shouldn't shock any viewers that the nudity and sex in it is a lot more important than the actual plot surrounding it. As for the Synapse Blu-ray, it's a nice package. Obviously it's going to get a new HD transfer, and the video looks really good. It's a 2K scan of the uncensored director's cut, and it has a lot of nice, crisp, vibrant, clean colors to it. There is a lot of color within Sorceress, which is kind of surprising based on the actual plot of the film. But you're also not going to want to miss out on those topless scenes in HD. I haven't seen the original censored cut of this film, but I can see where those sex scenes were cut. But there's no loss of quality here like you would see sometimes when they're inserting portions of film that were cut out from the main cut. So that's a plus in my book. It's not like the Silent Night, Deadly Night, which had scenes restored to it, but they were of poor quality. It's sometimes very poor quality. That doesn't happen in this at all. So that's certainly something that is a nice feature here, that they didn't have to resort to any scenes that weren't of the same quality as the rest of the film. Audio quality is also very good. It has a 2.0 track, so no 5.1, but just a 2.0 track. There's no dips or pops in the sound. The soundtrack makes good use of Debussy's music. That's like a big theme within the film. So you're going to hear a lot of Debussy on the soundtrack. And there's also subtitles. So anybody who wanted to read it, it's there. And the subtitles, I didn't even find any errors in them. So That's always a plus as well. The disc is limited to its special features and bonus features. It does have 2 audio commentaries. The one is from Wynorski alone, but the second one features Wynorski and makeup artist Tom Savini, which is kind of nice. I mean, it's nice to hear both of them together on that audio commentary track, especially with Tom Savini, who's always interesting to listen to, especially with all of the, when he has anecdotes about makeup effects and stuff like that. There's no cast interviews or anything, which is just a little bit unfortunate for this Blu-ray, especially since it is a nice new edition with the uncensored cut restored. So I wish that they were able to get a few more interviews or something just to compensate with the audio commentary, but alas, there's nothing there for that. Still, if you're looking to own a quality copy of Sorceress, I mean, it's the first time on Blu-ray in this edition. Probably most people who have seen it either saw it on like a scrambled TV channel or maybe on VHS or something like that. So definitely want to pick this up if you have any interest at all in some of Wynorski's erotic films, or anything that comes out on Synapse is really good too. So if you've ever picked up anything from there you want to add to your collection, Sorceress is another great film to add to your shelf. So I ended up giving this film a 7 out of 10. That's 6.5 for the film itself, which is compensating for some of the lack of plot and the eroticism in it. And then I gave the special features and the quality of the film a 7.5 out of 10, which averages out to a 7. Like I said, some of it is lacking a few special features, which I would have liked to have seen. But otherwise, it's a pretty quality film, a good pickup for you, and definitely check out Wynorski's other body of work, which is very similar to Sorceress at times, and then at other times he does like giant monster movies and stuff. So you can't go wrong checking out Wynorski, even though some of them are have a really low budget. But he is one of the leading directors in horror of just pumping out film after film. So definitely a director that goes down in horror history. Thanks for watching this video review. If you don't mind, please subscribe to the channel so that you can get all of our latest updates. You can check us out on Facebook, facebook.com/themoonisteadworld. Also, like I said in the beginning of this film, make sure you enter that giveaway, which is down in the info portion of this video. Also, give us, I always forget this, but give us a like sometimes. Make sure that you like this video so I know that you like this stuff and you want to see more of it. You can check us out at themoonisteadworld.net for all the full written reviews, and I will be back next time very shortly, hopefully, with a review of Scream Factory's recent release, The Crush, starring Alicia Silverstone and Carrie Elwes. That one I've already reviewed on the site, but I will be doing a video review of it as well, just to let you know my thoughts on it in video form instead of written form. So thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe and like the video, and I will see you next time.